In 1979, a pilot in Alaska calls his base to report that he saw something out of the ordinary in the sky. What's more, the professionals find their sensors going off the deep end. Two lumberjacks were in the forest at the same time, are finished working and prepared to return home. As they drive away, unexpectedly one of the trucks floats up for a few seconds before plummeting to the ground and collapsing. The other woodcutter attempts to keep an eye on his companion. However, at that point he's stunned to see an outsider spaceship showing up above him. He immediately attempts to flee by running into the forest, but the aliens soon catch up to him and bar him up to abduct him. On present day in California, PC engineer Isaac shows up at the workplaces of NASA where he works. Beck, one of his co-workers, informs him that they are receiving a signal from Canada, which is strange because that region does not have a grounded satellite. Later, as Isaac is working at the computer when he gets a signal from somewhere he doesn't know and wonders if it's a glitch. The following day Isaac goes to his meeting with his psychotherapist, who requests that he start recording video journals to assist with the course of self-recuperating. Isaac is rather awkward camera, but he tries to record anything that comes to mind. One evening, everybody in California stares in disbelief as a blazing meteorite enters the atmosphere of Earth. Isaac is on a hike and he sneaks around the mountains with his camera to avoid the approaching law enforcement and locates the ideal recording location. To his shock, he finds that the shooting star is actually a real spacecraft from another planet that landed on the mountains. The ship suddenly vanishes from sight, followed by the appearance of an alien behind Isaac. He is stunned when he turns around. Despite what he sees, he continues to record. Isaac tries to follow the alien as it leaves. In any case, after a couple of steps he falls oblivious. Before long, every news source is talking about the shooting star and unrelated hypotheses about it. Samples are supposed to be collected by Isaac's team, but he doesn't show up to the job. Isaac awakens on a cliff later, confused about what happened. He examines his camera and sees the recording of the outsider, causing him to acknowledge he may have been kidnapped. There's additionally some agony on his arm, yet it doesn't look hurt. As Isaac returns to his apartment, however, things continue to become more complicated. When he stares at something for too long, it suddenly disappears for a brief time before reappearing. At first he thinks it was a stunt of his cerebrum, but it keeps happening, and he can feel a funny sensation whenever he tries to touch the area where the object was. Sensation around his hand. Figuring he might be wiped out, Isaac goes to the medical clinic. However, the specialist simply says he's dried out and that he really wants some rest. Anyway, the specialist is confounded by the X-beams of Isaac's arm because there is a small, straight fracture that shouldn't be possible. Despite not using a tool, Isaac does not have a scar on his skin. Beck calls Isaac after he goes to work, out for not saying anything, revealing Isaac's 3-day disappearance. Instead, Isaac decides to show what happened instead of explaining it. So he grabs a glass and concentrates to it vanished. Tragically, Beck isn't intrigued and he simply snatches the glass since he can in any case see it. After that, Isaac shows Beck the recording of the alien, but Beck is unsure whether or not to believe it. Another associate comes in and brings tests from the dirt where the episode occurred. However, there is absolutely no evidence of a meteorite. Later on, Isaac decides to make the video available online and send it to several scientific publications. The video goes viral right away, and the next morning, Isaac receives thousands of calls and comments from people who want to interview him when he wakes up, including a popular syndicated program. At the point when he checks the remarks on the video, he sees many individuals trust it, yet most watchers believe it's phony and compose awful things. Soon, Isaac shares his story on television. The host initially requests specifics, but soon reveals her true intentions and launches, putting his credibility in question and making him appear to be joking in front of the camera. The meeting also goes viral, and a troll makes the claim that Isaac is looking for attention, to have assisted Isaac in creating a fake video. The public response truly bums him out. However, Isaac rejects to give up and start looking online for others who have been through the same thing. One day, another abducted person agrees to meet Isaac at a restaurant, and while Isaac waits, he begins seeing articles around him drifting in the air. Sarah abruptly interrupts his bizarre experience. The individual he met online, Isaac, pulls out a lot of research and shows her the footage. How outsiders have been seen commonly over the entire course of time, even by renowned researchers. As a result, Sarah enlightens him concerning an outsider kidnapping in 1979 in Gold Country. Carl, a man, had been the victim, who vanished after he told his story. In the meantime, in a secret wooded cabin, when Carl sees his equipment pick up a strange signal, he gets excited. Later, Isaac observes on television a person that continues scrutinizing his video, saying how counterfeit it is. He gets inspired by this to begin a number of media outlets with copies of his footage. When he has every one of the envelopes prepared, he attempts to place them in a letter drop and battles with the heap. An irregular man passing by offers his help and sees Isaac's face. So he says he's a writer and hands him his card to get in touch with him if he intends to publish an interview. Soon, more researchers appear. On television that the footage is fake, Isaac contacts the writer and schedules an appointment at his workplace. The author asks Isaac to take a lie detector test to give the story more credibility, during which numerous inquiries regarding Isaac and the incident are made. All of Isaac's answers are immaculate, so the essayist requests that he stand by a second and leaves the room. Seconds after the fact, two secretive specialists appear and attempt to abduct him. Isaac triumphs over them despite his struggles. To flee, only to be suddenly tranquilizer shot and captured anyway. At the point when he finally does, he finds himself being carried by androids in an enigmatic facility. As they move about, Isaac sees that they also have Sarah and yells for her. But they take them to various rooms. Agent Graves appears behind a glass as the androids affix Isaac to a chair, claiming that Isaac possesses useful information that could benefit humanity. He then conducts some tests by forcing Isaac to focus on a variety of objects, but no matter what they choose, nothing happens. Additionally, Graves continues to inquire about Carl, who is said to be hiding in British Columbia. Isaac Graves becomes more and more frustrated as he learns nothing about that man. After Isaac is able to free his hands from the chains with some effort, he then destroys the apparatus and uses it to kill the androids, who start releasing a strange, glowing liquid. Isaac leaves, rapidly tracking down Sarah in the following room. He uses his power to open the door, which sets him free right away. In order for them to run away together, using random hallways in an effort to outpace their pursuer's speed. As the androids run away, Isaac grabs a gun from them and fires back. After a further few turns, Isaac utilizes his ability to open one more entryway and lock it behind them, permitting the team to securely arrive at the outside. They realize they are there when they see a person walking by with a cart. Aren't in the US. Graves directs the androids inside the facility to locate and capture the couple, speculating they'll be going to English Columbia to track down Carl. Isaac and went for a while to run. Sarah figure out how to arrive at a town and find they're in Costa Rica. They agree that they should seek this Carl fellow, however they have no real way to contact him, so they make an inquiry or two for a web association. A young lady at a bar gives them bearings to meet Zed, the nearby programmer. While the pair requests his assistance, Graves' kin make a few inquiries town for them. Before long the androids are drawing nearer. Fortunately, the group, however, detects their approach and escapes just in time. Zed takes them to his treehouse in the jungle, where he provides some crucial details. The specialists that are following them are from the ISRP, or Worldwide Space Exploration Program, which is controlled by the assembled nationwide agency. Zed consents to assist them with searching for Carl, who it's said to have an untraceable association at his place. While Zed chips away at finding Carl, Sarah fills Isaac in about her experience as an alien kidnapper. She thought it was a plane when she heard something outside. However, the spacecraft was the one that took her. Sarah went missing for 2 days and nobody thought she was a scam. Either when she told others or because of their shared trauma and loneliness, the pair bonds. In a world where they are mocked, Zed then makes the announcement that he is not making any progress. Isaac makes reference to English Columbia and unexpectedly recalls the Canadian sign he got up, giving the details to Zed. By hacking into Isaac's work PC, they at last track down Carl's area, who is to be sure in Canada. The gathering endeavors to call the man. However, Carl hangs up when he hears their voices. However, they persevere and attempt once more, this time attracting Carl's attention by bringing up the story of Isaac's kidnapping and the agents. The fact that Isaac has received an unidentified signal to Carl, who quickly decrypts it and comes to the conclusion that in 5 days, the aliens will arrive at his location. After some conversation over the possible risks, the gathering consents to join Carl. They use multiple modes of transportation because the journey is quite lengthy. To advance there, the agents keep pursuing them as they travel because Isaac, and while they were unconscious, and Sarah had trackers injected into them. When the three of them board a train, the androids ride along on their bikes and soon join the ship as well. Zed sees them on his PC, therefore, in order to fool the sensors, the team dons bizarre masks. Sadly, the method does not work. Additionally, the androids attempt to capture them, prompting the trio to begin fleeing as they dodge shots from the gun's lasers. When Sarah and Isaac climb onto the train's roof, the androids they attempt to follow them after discovering their location, but Zed is waiting for them and kicks them off the train. They eventually reach the correct cabin, where Carl confronts them with a gun. Carl uses a small device to turn off the trackers on the device after verifying their identities. The arms of Isaac and Sarah. Graves quickly sees the lost signs. However, his men are as of now working on finding the vehicles the trio used to travel in. Carl confirms that once the team has settled down in Alaska, he was the lumberjack who was kidnapped. From that point forward, he's been unscrambling any odd sound signals he could recognize, making an interpretation of them into English to attempt to speak with the outsiders. The signal that Isaac discovered is his most precise to date. Zed is exceptionally dazzled since Carl has concocted many machines to stay aware of this task as the years progressed. That evening, Sarah can't rest since she's apprehensive, so Isaac comforts her and says he's happy to have met her. The group waits in the cabin for 2 days for a sign that the alien has arrived. Unexpectedly, they feel a quake nearby, so Isaac goes to the backwoods to search for the boat. Furthermore, experiences 2 outsiders. The animals participate and go with him to the lodge, where Carl's gadget deciphers for the 2 sides so they can talk. The aliens say that their race has taken over the entire aspect of the physical world, including technology and medicine, so they are now looking for something bigger than they can fathom, like the beginning of the universe. They've been studying humans due to the special aura they possess, and touching Isaac, he sees Jesus in a vision. Obviously, they accept Jesus is the beginning of everything in light of the fact that his followers are the people who have the most aura. Sarah takes the risk to inquire as to why her arm generally hurts since being kidnapped, causing the alien to remove a bracelet that it places around her arm. Her arm suddenly splits in 2, revealing the tracker that the aliens placed there. Now before you can restore her arm's normal appearance, take it back. Then they begin to work on Isaac's arm. However, Graves and his agents arrive at that exact moment and block the road with their vehicles. Graves demands Carl needs to come out because he wants to know why his father, who was the lumberjack whose body vanished after being crushed in the truck. When Graves says he will open fire, Carl finally emerges to explain that he is unsure of the state of his coworker's body, which he has previously stated. Graves actually doesn't really accept that and makes his men shoot him down. Sarah runs out to check on him right away, but she also gets shot. In the lodge, the outsiders wrap up with Isaac's arm and offer him some last guidance. He ought to utilize his senses and attention. Isaac concentrates and finally regains control of his power as the aliens vanish, allowing him to disappear while the agents fire on the cabin and retrieve Sarah. Then Carl and Zed are also picked up by Isaac, who keeps them in the underworld, where they meet with the aliens once more. While Zed enters the cabin, the creatures immediately treat Carl and Sarah, only to see if it's empty. The group walks along with the aliens while all of the agents are perplexed, without being noticed among the men. Soon, the spacecraft leaves the planet. A half-year afterward, Sarah and Isaac are a couple carrying on with a calm life in Costa Rica. Isaac actually has his power and uses it occasionally at work to complete tasks faster. Zed and Carl are cooperating for Zuma, a new underground technology intelligence agency, and Graves is fired for going too far. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.